Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Odd Shaped Panel. We're talking about superheroes on TV tonight.
Nice. Now I'm wearing Superman, baby.
Ooh, look at those guns.
Oh, yeah. These.
Whoa!
I'm going to talk about a show that I like tonight a lot, probably. It's called Misfits. It's a British show, and it's friggin' awesome. I would pick Lactokinesis. It's the power to manipulate dairy products, so that's my choice.
The shape-shifting ability. I want Mystique's level version of that.
I don't have a life of my own. I just steal little bits from other people.
Not only the ability to shape shift, but the ability to sound like anyone and be anything. Like, I'm totally down for that because you can get a lot accomplished with shape shifting that mimics the abilities a lot of other people might choose. You can't teleport, but I mean, I can still rob a bank because I could be the bank manager and just walk in and take what I want.
I have been many women in my time, some rich, some poor. Rich, I find, is preferable.
I can't fly, but I might be able to pretend I'm an airline captain.
I really thought about this, and ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to be Superman. That is not an exaggeration. I have a ton of shirts, and he's my favorite hero. And there's one power that I've always wanted. It's flight.
It's all right, Lois. I've got you.
I would love to be Superman because he can fly.
Like, I know a lot of people say flying, and flying is rad. I imagine it's exhilarating. But at the same time, like, I imagine even with flying, I'm really impatient. So if I could just
a body in motion stays in motion.
Be where I need to be, that's awesome. So
Nice.
with like no limit, like I could teleport wherever. Like,
I think that I would be most interested in like Scarlet Witch's powers.
It doesn't have to be like this, Kurt. What my father is doing is for the good of all mutants.
To be able to suggest things to people is like making an entire fake universe for that person to occupy for however long she chooses.
Her power is technically reality manipulation.
It is sorcery. Winds of destiny change.
I was gonna go with invisibility.
Don't give my idea over the phone, big brother and all that. Hey, Susan, it's that man.
For my superpower. And I would, even though I'm a nice person, I would totally use it for evil and like sneak into like walk behind a bank teller while they're opening up the safe and like just stuff some of that stuff. And my parents.
Can't you see me? No.
You're invisible. You two are hilarious. Really, keep taking that medication.
Superhero Superman, what is this? All right, where's the real dude?
I don't think he's ever been broke before, so he doesn't know the struggle.
This is coming from the girl who said that she didn't like Gotham because the cops were too corrupt.
Where is he? Talk fast, bub. Oh, what are you going to do to me? I'm an old man. I'm dying. I'll help you die quicker, you terrorist.
That's why I'm not a cop.
I would definitely want the power to be able to like also walk through stuff.
Kitty, I can explain
later.
So that instead of having to like walk past somebody with a whole bunch of money, I could just like take the cart and like run.
You guys are super villains.
You
you're
guys
a
really
team.
are.
You're like the ghost gang. Like you just get in there unseen and then phase through a wall.
Yeah,
I would like Quake's powers from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daisy Johnson, like to be able to like, I guess, control frequencies inside, like down to the atom scale, and just be able to like either crush or expand something at will.
Is Batman's crooked accounting and epic wealth a superpower? Because if so, I want that.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. Never leave the cave without it.
Because I think I could do a lot of good with the amount of money Bruce Wayne has that nobody ever seems to question it. But for real, a superpower, I think I would want like some kind of form of like telekinesis where I can control objects. I think that would be really cool.
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
And not like super detrimental where you wouldn't still be able to have like a normal life.
I know people said telekinesis and telekinetic powers, but how about like mind control, like Kilgrave?
Let's make it really crazy. Everybody fold. Oh, I guess that makes me the winner. And me with a deuce and a 7.
From Jessica Jones and all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be awesome. You just control people's minds and you could do whatever you wanted, right? I think in a way.
Yeah, I don't know whether Cypher was in the X-Men show, but he basically, he spoke with computers and shit, and he knew every language, could read, write, and talk. So, yeah, that's where I stand on that.
Gladiator from the X-Men. His power is like super self-confidence. If he believes he can do it, he can pretty much do it.
Wow! I didn't think anybody could do that to Juggernaut.
But all you have to do is like hurt his ego and like tell him like, no, you can't literally do this, and he'd be like, oh no.
Spidey and Friends.
Spider-Man and his amazing friend.
And that's because I had a humongous crush on Firestar as a kid.
Firestar.
Because she was a redhead, and I had a thing for redheads. So, like, that's what made me interested in those shows. But, even though that's silly.
Spider-Man and his amazing friend.
After much thought, it's Batman the Animated Series.
I think they portrayed each iconic villain very well in that cartoon.
It's just so dark in all the right ways, but it is just epic. And Kevin Conroy, I mean, my God, that's all he needs to do for the rest of his life is be the voice of Batman.
My favorite film genre is film noir, and I think that's partly because of Batman the Animated Series. The setting, the way the music was in the background, the lighting, like it was a noir. It was an animated noir, but it still fit the build.
It was either this or X-Men, and both are fantastic.
X-Men series is awesome.
The voices, like,
yeah,
when I like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but he can never sound like the animated series Wolverine.
Looks like you got everybody mad at you, rookie. And one of them has a big gun.
Especially the Dark Phoenix saga. I remember that being a huge deal among all my friends.
The mortal Jean Grey is no more. I am fire made flesh, power incarnate. I am the Dark Phoenix.
Jean, no!
I run home after school, go watch it, and you just didn't see that kind of thing in like any other cartoon superhero shows of that time period. It was still fun and bright, but it also had some elements of darkness in it that made it really engaging, and I think helps make it stand the test of time, whereas other shows kind of fall flat.
There is a power beyond good and evil.
The introduction of Cable was probably my favorite.
I'm sorry, Bishop.
Remember me, Bright Eyes?
What I really didn't like was the fact that I read the comics before I saw the show, because I didn't see it when I was a kid when it aired originally. So from reading all the story arcs and the backgrounds to then seeing how they put it in the TV show kind of pissed me off. But then again, anybody who read any books and then went to see the movie, usually they're irritated by something.
That old boy sure knows how to make an exit.
Just for a few of the handful of episodes, and I thought how well it was handled. And I'm not even the biggest DC fan, but Justice League going into Justice League Unlimited is fantastic.
Well, Bruce Timm is like the main mind behind that, so I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I really love the Bruce Timm and Paul Dini verse. Like, it's kind of hands down. Like, it's really hard because like Batman is awesome and Superman is awesome, and then like the Justice League into Justice League Unlimited was really I don't know, just that it's really unfair to say that, like, to kind of claim those four and then kind of everything therein. I could watch that like kind of from start to finish, like, and be super happy, and like as soon as it's done, like pick it up again because it's so entertaining and it's very well written.
None of the characters felt like carbon copies of the other ones. They're all their own characters.
Well, and it introduced me to characters like The Question, who I freaking love now. So
that was the appeal of Unlimited.
Yeah,
you got to see all these different characters that you would have never seen.
One of my favorite, it will be the Powerpuff Girls.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born.
Nice.
I really love that show because he was my favorite villain. Oh, hello, Powerpuff Girls.
I like Teen Titans Go. I know the original Teen Titans was amazing.
They were going through some like emotional teenage shit while I was going through emotional teenage stuff.
I never got to finish high school because of this. And when I was at the Hive, for a while there, I actually felt normal.
I did not know you before, so to me, you are normal.
So with superpowers and like trying to figure out love lives, and that was like making the superheroes seem more human.
But what they're doing with this and kind of making it one of those Cartoon Network shows that's kind of like kid friendly, but like a little on a different level for other people.
You better turn back, Beast Boy, before you end up with a car payment and a loveless marriage. But seriously.
I think it's so good, and they're doing a crossover. They're doing a Teen Titans Go Powerpuff Girl crossover, so I'm actually kind of excited for that. It's also really cool that it's confirmed that Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack are in the same universe.
Yes.
Oh man,
that is extremely exciting.
Like, it's just a Powerpuff Girls screw up somewhere. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Going in the footsteps of the Powerpuff Girls, like my new favorite is Steven Universe.
Amethyst and Pearl and Steven.
I think that it's like super inclusive, and it's a show that like boys or girls can watch and enjoy. It doesn't like put anybody down. And it's this show about like being strong in every way, not just a superhuman way, but also being strong, you know, like for your family or for your friends or, you know, with your heart or whatever. And I think that that's important. Like, I think a lot of times portrayals of superheroes are very like soulless, kind of like they're kind of hollow people. And I feel like, you know, that show has a ton of heart.
I would say I'm probably closer to like Garnet in that show because
I will fight for the place where I'm free to live together and exist as me.
She's real cool and badass. She's kind of like two different people literally put together.
And
so
quiet.
like I'm like business but also like ridiculous at the same time. So
You're the embodiment of a mullet, pretty much. Is what...
My favorite superhero show of all time probably is the first 3 seasons of Misfits. And I can't stress enough that only the first 3 seasons. It has a lot of different elements that I never saw put into superhero shows. They do some really interesting stuff. With the powers, I like how the powers aren't only limited to like that small group. Like, you end up finding out that it hit a bunch of people in the area that they're at.
because I thought Heroes was really good.
I really liked the original run of Heroes, like before like the writer's strike happened. I thought they were doing some really good stuff with that show. It was very interesting. Like, here's all these regular people that are enhanced, and But then after that writer's strike happened, the show went off the rails. So.
Let that show have a much longer life than it ever deserved, and I'll tell you why. You cannot have the Supermans in that show. You had not one but two people who essentially could do any power. One guy who could copy every power, and the other guy who could steal every power.
Are you gonna eat it?
Eat your brain. Claire, that's disgusting.
I watched Heroes like a year ago, and I did enjoy a lot of it. I do think Siler is probably the best part of that show, easily.
He was great.
Cake.
It definitely got worse as it went along. I did like Hero. I found myself liking the characters almost more than the show. Yeah. And Heroes Reborn was really bad.
Heroes had a lot of interesting characters. I never do it right how to bring all of them together. But in every episode you find every layer about the characters, especially Siler.
I saw a vision of the future. And I'm gonna kill a lot of people. Tell me why I would do that.
Also all the things about the Petrellis. One of the things they always love about the show, and they never reveal it, not even on Reborn. I watched Reborn only for that reason. If you remember watching the whole show, you never know what was the deal with Angela Petrelli.
Get out of my head!
You never know if she was good, or she was bad, or she was planning everything. Because you always have doubts with her.
I'll tell you what, Noah Bennett is one of the best characters
in
Heroes.
Noah Bennett also.
That episode where the eclipse came back and he was like, I'm the most badass person on the planet right now because no one else knows how to do anything.
Power Rangers.
After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Tommy, Kimberly, we're fans.
It's been on the air for so long, it has to be doing something right. It still speaks to kind of a interesting concept where it's a bunch of teenagers fighting giant monsters, magic powers, and robots.
The Incredible Hulk. With
way back in the day, the Lou Ferrigno stuff.
Oh yeah.
Brian brought up the ending credits of the Hulk and how iconic that music is, and it super is with him just walking down the road with his thumb out.
Mm-hmm, the sad song.
I guess I would say the Hulk.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Like, that's a cool show. I revisited that show, and it was really entertaining to me. Mostly out of just like the differences in when it was taped and now, how they would have taped it now had it been just introduced. Appeals
it's very dated, but I feel like it's more of a time capsule than it is like a negative thing about the show.
Oh, for sure.
So that was Marvel's kind of first. If Adam West's Batman was already, was there any before Marvel?
I don't think so. I know they crossed over a lot of other Marvel characters. I know Thor was in that series at least once.
I really like what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to do. And I think that there's a bit of confusion. And I wish they would just go full on like this is part of our Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because there is definitely a disconnect. Even though like the Coulson thing has happened, like no one is referencing in the MCU at this point that Coulson, a character who was part of their universe, is still alive. He's still running S.H.I.E.L.D. Like the MCU, the movies, need to acknowledge that show and give that show some credibility so that they can like finally be connected.
I really love The Flash. Flash is a great show. I wear that shirt every Tuesday to support The Flash. Try to get everyone to watch it. I don't know. I love Flash.
I am so sorry. I didn't want you to find out this way.
Yeah, Flash handles relationships the best, I think. Because Arrow, it's a little bit garbage on that show. I wish I could like Arrow again. I like the first season, 2 seasons of Arrow. But it's just... Flash is nailing it. Like, that's what the DC universe should be like.
This is the thing. Like, the one thing no one is doing yet, including DC, is connecting their television and their movie franchises. And frankly, if you take Grant's Flash and put him in DC's movie, like, right away it's better because he's fantastic.
The one thing I like about the Netflix shows is, yes, they're in the same universe, but I like that they've kind of held off. And Daredevil and Jessica Jones and the whole Netflix series, I feel like, is trying to make a name for themselves before they do their own crossover and then crossover into everyone else. I think they're tackling it very well.
In fact, I forgot the Netflix ones because Jessica Jones was amazing. But I thought Jessica Jones, like, elevated storytelling in a way that, like, we just, you know, taking that movie format and breaking it into 13 episodes and then telling a really mature, serious storyline. Like, wow, Jessica Jones, like, really nailed it.
2-for-1 hoagies all day.
I mean, I like Daredevil, but
I didn't ask for that name. I'm sorry. I see you running from it.
I'm not a huge fan of the Punisher, what they did with him.
Is that why you think you're better than me?
That show is extremely powerful, and it like definitely takes kind of that nasty taste away from the movie.
The technical effort they put into the lighting and the camera work.
Absolutely. The pacing is great.
Yeah.
I feel like every episode is a cliffhanger.
You know what I think you, hero? I think you're a half measure.
Yeah, right now it's definitely the Flash. For sure. I know you guys were talking about Gotham earlier. I love that show. I think it's definitely a little overacting here and there. But
I need a Danish.
I like the dialogue. I like the characters of the villains, especially. Like, it all just works really well. I think they've done a great job with the villains.
Riddler on the finale when he's doing that quiz kid stuff. That's
Who's ready to play Life or Death?
like, I'm like salivating. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh my god, it's so on point.
It's got to be Lex from Smallville. Picked him because the best kind of villains, well, the villains that interest me are the ones that don't start out as villains. His friendship with Clark was amazing. Yeah. That was the glue that held a lot of the series.
Well, it's good to see you. What happened? Something I didn't know I was capable of. It's ironic. In the most remote solitude, I still managed to find an enemy.
So Clark found that room. They were like, that friendship was, it was such a great nod to the original comics where Superboy and Lex Luthor were friends. They fall out because Superboy tries to save Lex Luthor from a chemical fire.
Deadly fumes! Breathe! Oh no, there's smoke coming from Lex Luthor's lab.
And because he blew all the chemicals out, he loses his hair.
And blew the gas fumes at me, causing my hair to fall out. But it was an accident. Don't lie. You were jealous of my genius. Now you'll never have this kryptonite antidote I invented for you.
And that's how he goes bald. So Lex Luthor going bald because of the meteor shower in Smallville, which is kind of Clark's fault, is just like a perfect, nice thing. And you're saying his dad, like, yeah, he was a product of how he was raised. He was giving, like, war and peace for, like, his birthday, and he was named after a great conqueror. And fun fact, Lionel Luthor, his dad on Smallville, also plays Sylar's dad on Heroes.
John Glover?
Yep.
Huh.
I think the best comic book villain of the MCU and
You're gonna pick the same one as me.
That's not Kilgrave.
Oh no, I'm picking Kilgrave.
I love Wilson Fisk. I think
I wanted to make this city something better than it is. Something beautiful. You took that away from me!
our introduction to Kingpin was he was a Spider-Man villain.
The only one who will go kaboom is you. I am going to break you in two.
We had no idea that he was also, I mean, they had the Daredevil crossover where it was like, oh, I also fight Kingpin.
And the name's Daredevil. You would have to be a daredevil to dare to challenge me.
For like this guy to come into one of these Spider-Man movies now, and I think he would be brilliant. His take on the character and how they pan out to how he's gotten this far, and even his art taste depicts everything. But everything is great about that show. Oh yeah, when he's a kid and all that shit happens. And for anyone who hasn't seen Daredevil, you should. That show is so good. And then he totally steals, like, he feels like he's in half of season 2, and he's only in, like, I think 2 episodes, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Like, he feels like he's throughout the whole thing because his presence is so big, which is
his portrayal is just insane, out of this world. Tom, like, yeah, man, like everything about like presence, everything, man, just kills it. Big fan of D'Onofrio's Kingpin.
And when one comes across someone with such talent, with such a gift, well, you don't let that go to waste.
Like I said, is going to be Kilgrave.
Leave now.
Number 2.
I thought that David Tennant was amazing as Kilgrave. I thought that he really made the first season of that show awesome. I'm a little concerned about what they're going to do without him, even, because I thought that he was the thing that really sucked me in. I think any person who's been in a relationship that's abusive can really relate to what Jessica is dealing with in that season because of the way that David Tennant portrays Kilgrave. He gets under my skin in the worst way because I've dealt with people like him before.
There's a fantastic Szechuan place around the corner. You like Chinese? Come on. Come on.
And it creeps me out so much. He is, as Ashley and Joseph like to always say, a horrible bastard the whole time.
David Tennant as the Purple Man did a really good job in Jessica Jones.
David Tennant did something that we had just never seen before in a villain. I will never forget is when he tells the kids to get in the closet.
That's my car.
Children should be seen and not heard. Or better still, not seen and not heard. Get into that closet.
And they have to go to the bathroom, and he's just like, no, stay in the closet. And then you see the puddle.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
On the floor. Like, as a parent, that, like, was horrifying.
He's been like this for as long as he can remember, so he doesn't view himself as a bad guy. This is just how, like he says, he's like, he's not even trying. He once just told a guy to screw himself and imagine what happened.
Right.
But on the other hand, like, doing terrible things and not understanding that they have consequences makes you a sociopath.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
The best line that he had about himself, I think, at one point, which is truly like the tragedy of a character like his, is that he can't tell when someone's doing something because they want to do it.
Kimber and Tom from The Flash, season 1 Reverse Flash.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Eobard. Eobard Thawne. I don't understand.
Great villain.
Oh, that was a great villain. I didn't know anything about the comics, and I really like his villain. I still remember the episode when he kills Cisco.
I've grown quite fond of you. And in many ways, you have shown me what it's like to have a son. Forgive me, but to me, you've been dead for centuries.
No! He's my favorite guy that was like, I don't want to watch this show anymore. And then Flash goes back in time, was like, okay, I calm down. Even though Zoom was awesome in season 2, but even Tom for me was better.
Like Tom Cavanaugh just did a great job, like with that character.
He's
acting very well. It's like he brought like emotion and like grit to every like scene that he was in.
He's great. I mean, he's like doing quality. I mean, he's the best actor on the show. I mean, hands down.
I could kill
I would say Deathstroke from Arrow. I liked Manu Bennett's Slade Wilson.
5 years ago, I made you a promise. Do you remember? Well, I'm here to fulfill it.
From Arrow. I think he did a really good job back when that show, was awesome.
Has to be Slade from the original Teen Titans, only because he was so, deep and dark.
No, Robin. I won't stop. Not now, not ever. I am the thing that keeps you up at night. The evil that haunts every dark corner of your mind. I will never rest. And neither will ye.
Dark Willow?
I was telling her about it before.
Yeah.
She makes the Boltons look like pansies.
Yeah, man. Dark Willow is this rage-filled creature that only exists to feed her inner self.
Just because I can't do magics to you doesn't mean I can't do them on myself. Donahue. Now I'm pretty sure I'm strong enough to beat you to death.
She only exists to take revenge and to because she's running off of this crazy amount of rage, pain. So she's literally unstoppable. Nothing can stop her. They bring in the most powerful witches in the world to do a circle against her, and they barely crack the surface. She's this force to be reckoned with, and the only thing that can bring her down is the power of love.
The Joker from Batman the Animated Series.
There's only room for one clown prince in this town.
It was just so off the rails, and I really love the creepy dynamic that he and Harley Quinn had.
That's a real gasser, huh, Mr. J?
I give the punchlines around here. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Especially knowing they created that character for that show, and one of my favorite episodes, actually, it's not really Joker centric, it's Harley centric, where she tries to go good and everything goes wrong.
You don't have the guts. Not in a million years would you.
It shows you the kind of a brave choice to have such a manipulative villain in a what is essentially is a children's show. Because
Batman the Animated Series, Ra's al Ghul.
Well, are you man enough to face your better? If you insist.
As logical as Batman is, except for a handful of villains or whatnot. Well, I guess that's a little ridiculous to say, but I always bought into the Lazarus Pit.
And it's Magneto. He's the best because he's always this powerful, scary, intimidating villain. He has his own nation. He can almost stop any of the X-Men with his abilities because through some fashion, either he can throw a bus at them or manipulate magnetic fields to deflect attacks or things like that.
The humans must be crushed, and I have the power to do it.
He's also the worst because he's rarely stays a villain. He isn't really a bad guy. He's just extreme, incredibly extreme. But he's doing everything he does from kind of a good place.
he feels like he's on the right side of history and everyone else is wrong.
Yeah.
I call no one master, especially not one who would destroy the innocent along with the guilty.
I really love when a new Batman series is coming out. So when Beware the Batman, Professor Pig and Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad, guess who dropped by? Hold on, let me get my monocle.
Fucking irked the shit. I did not like them. I'm really sorry.
Doomsday from Smallville, because I don't think they did Doomsday any justice, because Doomsday is the person who killed Superman.
Garrett from S.H.I.E.L.D., the clairvoyant. Reason why is just because he started out just an awesome dude, and it was yeah, Bill Paxton. He just goes nuts, not in a good way. He just becomes incompetent and really, really stupid.
If you tell me this whole hydropath thing you took is because you misheard my damn one-man speech. I am the key to the future of the universe.
Like, I'm like, come on, dude, you gotta get your shit together.
Grant Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really?
Yes, and here's why. They didn't want him to be a victim of the stories they were telling. They wanted him to be included because they like him as an actor. But I think you can see that while he's Grant Ward. When he first turns to Hydra, it's fantastic. But really, he never had the bite that he should have had throughout that. You know, the only time he was really a good villain was when he almost kills Fitz and Simmons.
You tried to kill us. No. I wanted to save you. Garrett ordered me to kill you and Simmons. He expected me to put a bullet in your head. But I couldn't.
Power Rangers, Rito Revolto.
Rito Revolto? What are you doing here?
You know this klutz?
Know him? He's my brother!
And in the original series that he was in, apparently he was kind of like a cool general and very menacing.
They're terrible. Are the Amoeba Boys?
All right, buddy. Hand over your money. I don't think he has any.
They're just so bad at what they do all the time. Like, all the time. Like, their never-ending failure just tickles me so much. So I nominate the Amoeba Boys.
I think it was season 2 of Arrow with Summer Glau. Her character as Ravager.
You killed me? Let me return the favor.
Her whole I guess arc in that whole season was just no payoff. And then they just have her in the costume, and it was just completely let down. I don't know what that was.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Barbara Gordon on Gotham.
Because when I woke up from that coma, the first image I saw was your face.
And I like the character and like what they've done with the character, but at the same time, like it's just weird. Like I don't see how that's like how her and Jim are gonna get back together after all that's happened. And
Because in that moment, you didn't see the monster. You just saw me.
like
I
how that's
think they're gonna take it as he's gonna name his daughter after his first love. Like I don't, because in the comic books, he marries a woman named Barbara, and they have a daughter named Barbara. Which you never see the junior female thing that often.
No, that's a lot of Barbara.
That's a lot. That's too much Barbara. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Odd Shaped Panel. We got a lot of good answers. Most of them were Batman the Animated Series, but that's because it's that good. I'd like to thank everyone again for showing up and talking to us.
Also, you can tweet us at the hashtag TUFFOSP hashtag. And if you have any questions for next week, please let us know. Or if you have any ideas for upcoming themes, we'd like to hear that as well. Any input you basically have, we want to hear.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.